Hello my convicts and convict catchers, it is Attic of Convict being you guys and gals just in the video. So today in the video what we're going to do today is we're going to go and discuss regarding Steam. I had Paul in the comment section on reading comments with Kappa asking about obviously the change in UI. I was saying why is your UI different to what I'm getting, because they updated the UI not too long ago. I think it's been like that for a little while and it's been something obviously that's been out there, but for those obviously wanting to use it, it's going to be kind of a bit awkward because it is a lot different to what it was obviously back in the day to what it is now. So without further ado, let's get into it and I'll explain a little bit. I'm just going to take you through the very basics and we'll go from there. If you want to follow up video, maybe do a more in-depth thing or actual set up a specific settings for a game that I actually own, then maybe we could consider doing that. But for now, we'll just leave it obviously as me showing you how it works, how to set it up pretty easily, and then you can go off and tweak it however you want to tweak it. So here we go. So first things first, load up Steam. So you're on your usual Steam page here. Then what you want to do is, if you haven't ever set this before, just in case it is not set, go to the top left where it says Steam, click on it, go to where it says settings, and then you want to go to controllers, and you want to then add two inputs. Now, I've never taken off the guide button focus Steam because I don't really know what it does. I think it's when the overlays come up from any Steam application. You've got the overlay that comes up. You can actually utilize that, but I don't use that. I don't even have it on. I don't believe so because I don't have anything that pops up from Steam or anything. So yeah, I've just got it on for the sake of for it being on. But the two you do want to have ticked is Xbox and PlayStation. Even if you're just solely PlayStation, you don't have an Xbox controller, I would probably consider having both on, just in case there might be a game that might not work with PlayStation config and needs the Xbox config. It should still work. You should still be able to make it work because people have put profiles out there anyway. But just in case, I generally have them both ticked. Up to you. You can turn it off if you want, leave it on, completely up to you. Once you've done that, press the X in the top right corner, and what we're now going to do is go over to the right side to where the monitor is and enter big picture mode. So let's do that right now. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to grab my controller here. Mine is a PlayStation 5 controller, as you can see. It is an AIM controller, but it's a PlayStation 5 controller stock. So now if I move around on here, you will see I have now got access to the menus using my PlayStation 5 controller, as you can see, like that. Also, we can do, if you go up to the right top button, which is the little settings, this tiny little button on this PlayStation controller, top right here, click on it. You can actually come here and you can go to properties, and you can change some things. This is for like in the game because we're actually in Battlegrounds at the moment. We're hovering over Battlegrounds. But if you press it, I think off, I think it does it different. Does it? No? No? Okay, well, what you can do, if not, then just press the home or PlayStation button. This one here. And this will bring you to this menu. And you can go down to settings and then go down to controller. And this brings you back to the same menu you saw before. Just use your D-pad to navigate from left to right. Otherwise, if you press circle, it will back you out to the main menu and then you'll have to come back in. It's a pain in the bum. I do it all the time, but just remember left and right on here will navigate left and right to your controller, audio display, or on here, however you want to do it. Right, let me go back to where I was supposed to be. So right on the D-pad, come over here. You can see it can already recognize my PlayStation 5 controller. It also has the 2-axis 8-button gamepad, which might be the Xbox version. That's probably what that's popping up as at the moment. You can add Game Rumble if you want. You can even change your layout between A and B and X and Y and swap them around if you want. You can test device input, so you can click on that and you can actually test that your device is working. As you can see, hold circle for 4 seconds on here. 1, 2, 3, 4 brings you back. And you can also go to calibration and right D-pad over to your left and right sticks, which you can cycle through between L1 and R1 and choose your dead zone by moving down on your D-pad, pressing X, and then you can move it up and down however you want and press triangle also, which will show you what your D-pad is doing. if you've got any like stick drift or anything you might need to get rid of. I tend to take this off because I'll generally will put it in games anyway. You don't want to add dead zone on top of more dead zone because it's just going to make it really weird, and you're going to have really non-sensitive sticks when it comes to obviously playing games. So make sure it's on 0 or as far down as you could possibly move these on both right and left sticks. Okay. Gyro, I don't touch this, but you can calibrate gyro. You can either do it by doing it through calibrate drift and auto calibration tolerance. What I would suggest if you're going to use this is obviously auto calibrate gyro drift when stationary, so you can put the controller down and just go press X, leave it, and it will calibrate itself automatically. So just FYI. You can change your output settings and you can change color. As you can see, mine is like a blue color, similar to the one you can see on screen now. So once we've got that all done, that's all you need to do really there. So just press circle to go back to the main menu. Now what you want to do is you want to select your game. I'm going to use PUBG as an example, as this is one of the things that Paul was asking about. You press X onto PUBG, you'll get this option. Go over to the right side where you got these two menus here. You want to click on the controller and you want to then go up. So it's highlighting where it says gamepad with high precision camera aim. Excuse me, I have a quick drink for my my throat. So press X on here and it'll bring you to this menu, which you can go through these different things. So you've got your layout, so anything you've created is here. Templates is a normal basic template created by Valve, as you can see. So you can have any, these are user created templates that will appear at the bottom here. But these are just the normal standard ones, and it tells you exactly what it's for. This is for desktop mouse, for camera controller aim. This is a gamepad with flight stick, gamepad for stick, for twin stick shooters or side scrollers, and so on and so forth. Press R1 again, you can go to community layouts. I've actually got this one on my PUBG one, which is gamepad with high precision camera aim. And then you can go to search, and you can also search for for specific games that you might have, that you might want the loadout for. Generally, if you click on the game, it will bring you, as you can see here, automatically to layouts, as you can see here already. So you can then choose, obviously, anything on here. Okay, so once you've done that and you selected, then that's it. You're good to go. You can actually go into games and play them straight away. That's not a problem. However, if you want to go that a little bit further and you look at your layout and you go, I don't like this layout, you can actually make some tweaks to it. I would probably recommend doing this. I will kind of show you how you could probably set it up. I'm only going to go really basic. But generally, if there's any layout that you go into and you go to the community layout and there's any on there, or if you want to just do template, that's up to you. You go to any on here and you look at it and you're like, I don't like this config, like this one here. Can you see what he's done? He's done L1, which is equip melee, and then the P key. And you've got R1 for nades and scroll wheel up. You've got L2 for right mouse click, R2 for right mouse click. You've got certain buttons to do inventory. Take a screenshot is your microphone. You've got joystick with E key. You've got all these different like mouse and keyboard keys that have been implemented into this particular layout. If you want to add this layout, you can just press square, and that will add that layout now. As you can see, it's from Jelly Bean. However, if you don't like it, again, you can view layouts from here. If you don't like it, you can go into edit the layout and you can actually see what he's done. So if you go edit layout, you'll come into the section where you can see each and every bit of what he's done, and you can actually change them around, or like I said, just go with a template and that'll start you off at the beginning. Then you just need to find out what the keys are, put them in yourself. Or for PUBG now, as far as I know, it automatically recognizes controller. As long as you've got like the template, one of the templates on, it automatically recognizes it as a normal controller, and it will treat it like an Xbox controller, but it will give you like Xbox control functionality like you actually do if you're playing on an Xbox console. So you should be able to do it, apart from you won't get aim assist. I think is the only, obviously the only thing you won't get is the aim assist. So yeah, once you've done that, when you've come here, you can look at it and you can go, okay, it's got space key as that. Maybe you don't want space key as that, so you can come in here and you say, no, I want it to be left alt for some reason. Then you can change, you know, to whatever you want. You can come in here, you can change certain things. Now, what this option does, it allows you to do different buttons for one button. So for your X button, you can actually do 2 or 3 different things with just that one button. So, for instance, regular press is just a normal touch. That's it. That's all it is. Just normal tap is a regular press. You go to the cog again. If you say, okay, I want it to be jump, but I also want it to be start to run, then you can go down, add extra command, go over to here, then go down to shift, and then you go to the cog, and then you tell it to do a double press. So now you've got 2 commands under one button. So not only are you doing jump, but you're also now double tapping the X button to then start initiating your run. You can, like I said, do it again. You could go here, add extra command on top of that. And then give it something else. Give it something else. Whatever you want to do with it. I don't know. Well, what else you would want to do if you didn't want to jump and if you didn't want to run. I guess you could even add it to be maybe prone. Maybe prone, you want to add it and you want to change it to long press. So now you've got 3 different actions. You've got your jump, you've got your double tap to perform your run, and then if you're holding it in for a long time, it will then make you go into a prone position, all with just one button. And you could do this with any of them, with the D-pads, triggers, joysticks, trackpads, whatever on there. But this is just obviously showing you as an example. Once you've actually done stuff like double press and stuff and things like that, you should be able to go to settings and you can come here. Now, I do not condone any form of cheating, so I'm not going to talk anything about turbo or anything like that. I don't believe anyone cheating or anything like that. Haptics, you can leave it on, I could turn it off. I'll generally turn it off because I don't really think there's a point to having it on. The only thing you want to look at is double tap time. Here, you can actually now start to refine how quick you want it to respond to a double tap. And then obviously how quick you want it to respond to holding in, sort of thing. So you can increase or decrease the double tap time. So obviously going this way is going to respond faster. Going this way, it's going to respond longer. You choose obviously which way you want to go with that. There's also a delay to the start and delay to the end. You can also cycle commands as well. So for instance, you want to, say for instance, you had an issue where you don't want to, well, cycle commands, I would probably give more like a description like the left thumbstick. Say for instance, you've got the left thumbstick, you've set it up as an analog. You want to run so fast, or maybe just the initial press is just a small run. If you put it all the way to the end, it then starts doing your tack sprint. Then you could do like a cycle command as well as the analog, and that would then enable, rather than you pressing a button, it's the threshold of which your thumbstick is at. So if you're pressing a small portion of your thumbstick up, it would start to run. If you're pressing it all the way to the other end to touch the plastic, then it starts doing the tack sprint. And you can do it in that manner. We could even start it from different motions, from the initial slow walk, jog, run, and then tack sprinting sort of thing. You get what I mean? So through the different zones that you set up, you can go from all those different motions without having to press buttons in or press an extra button to do a certain thing. You can do it all in one button on there. So, yep. So that's the kind of things you could do on there. I'm not going to really go through too many of the other ones on there, but you get the idea of how it works. Then you've got D-pad, which you can choose on here's 8-way or 4-way. You can do analog animation. You can do cross gate, a cross-shaped pad that prioritizes horizontal and vertical movements over diagonals. So it only prioritizes up, down, left, and right. You can do that. Triggers. You can come here to triggers. You can create shift mode. I don't know what that does. I've never really used it, so I can't really explain too much about that. If you go to the right side, you can do the threshold. So if you want your triggers to be more responsive, you can move this all the way to the left like this. Trigger, you can choose between these different things. If you read them, they'll explain. Obviously, simple threshold is a normal. It says it's good for mouse clicks and drags. As the trigger is pulled, the soft pull command is sent first, followed by the full pull. Or you've got hair trigger, good for action games where you want to be rapidly send the soft pull command with quick pulls and releases. So you can see obviously what it's showing there. Then you've got the trigger response curve. You can choose different ones. So response curve basically is how quick and slow you want it to be. It's kind of like acceleration or somewhat similar to what it's like in Call of Duty, where you can either have the dynamic S curve, you can have linear, and then they've got a few other options you can do on there. Again, this is the same sort of thing. It's how fast or how slow you want your thumbstick to react to you, and then you can choose between these other curves. Or you can even pick a completely custom curve and you choose what you want it to be at. So yeah, I just generally go either linear or I go with aggressive sometimes and try that out. But again, not talking about the next thing on there. Analog output trigger. When enabled, the analog value of the specified trigger will be sent to the game, only possible if the game recognizes XINPIU X input compatible gamepad values. I don't mess with this because I don't really know what it does, so I'm just going to leave that as is. Trigger range and trigger end. And it says this sets the dead zone for the analog trigger. A greater value will create more of a dead zone where no analog will be sent when initially press the trigger down. So again, I'm not 100% sure what these are for. It just says dead zone. So for me, really, if it was triggers, I would probably turn them down to 0 because I would want them to react as quickly as possible. But then again, if you do it too low down, it might just fire for no reason. So just obviously play about with that and kind of look into that. But again, these are kind of things I've not really touched on at all. You've got joysticks here, which you can choose if you wanted a joystick, or you can choose joystick, mouse, flight stick, scroll wheels, whatever you want, D-pads. Then you can go to the cog at the side of each one. You can change the sensitivity, as you can see here. There's a mouse sensitivity for this one because it was set under mouse. You can change the horizontal, vertical scale. The stick response is put down as extra wide. Relative to mouse, obviously, because if you're using mouse, you can put it as joystick and it'll be under joystick look and that'll disappear. If you want it relative to mouse, then obviously you can choose it to be relative to mouse and it'll give you mouse sensitivity. You've got different types of dead zone that you can put on here. So they put it as default. And the command radius. Now this is where you would normally do if you're using like your thumbsticks and you're wanting it to be, like I said, where you've got the rather than pressing a button, it's in the motion of how far you're pushing, how much pressure you're putting on your thumbstick, whether it's a small push, a medium push, or a hard push, or all the way to the very end to the other side. You can perform different assigned kind of movements from walking to then running to sprint and then to tack sprint kind of thing if you was in Call of Duty sort of thing. You can invert it as well, so it will do the opposite. And then haptics again, you put whatever you want on there. Trackpads, come in here, you can add a right trackpad behavior. So if you press the right trackpad in, you press the left trackpad in, and then you've got center trackpad behavior as well. This is if you've got issues, like you can see here, they've done a center click for map and for inventory. So you can either do that or double press. So single press is map, double press is inventory. So you can obviously pick whichever you want to put in there. And then gyro's there if you want to use gyro. And that's it. That's generally all it is. That's all it is. All I would recommend is if you're having any problems or you just don't want the hassle, then just come up here and obviously choose a custom layout or choose a template. I do believe if you run it with high precision camera, like this, camera aim, and just leave it at that, it will run fine on PUBG. I don't think it causes any issues. We could actually try it. Let me just launch the game real quick and we'll give it a bash. And I'll go into the training section and just see if it actually physically works. So we've currently got it with that on. You can easily get to the overlay menu as well if you need to obviously see what it is or change things around and that. So yeah. So if you ever see this happen, this is because the overlay is going over the top. All you need to do is go with your mouse and click on the icon of the game, and it'll bring it in the front. I think it's Steam. It's always been put down that it should be at the front of stuff. If Yon doesn't do it, it doesn't matter. But if it does do it, and you're like, I can hear the game, but I can't see it, just click on the game because it'll have been that the game is minimized to the tray behind. Now, as you can see, I can't move anything in the menus on PUBG. I think there's an option where you can go, if you click the home button, as you can see, you can actually get back to your settings. If you come here and go to settings and then go, let's try it, and go down to controller and then go to the very bottom, you can see desktop layout. And then you can edit, you can add a layout on here for desktop. So if you're using a desktop or anything, you can add functionality to move around with your controller instead. We are on Ethernet, aren't we? Well, everything good? Yep. You can come here and you can go to templates or community loadout ones. Middle finger to game companies. Okay, I don't know what that is. This is for games I built in gamepad intended for dual stick. Any that's any good? I don't think there's any good. Let me try that one. Apply. No, not let me do anything. There is an option, but I'm not 100% sure if it's that or not. But it's easy. Just use basically your mouse on here. Let me just make sure I have not changed anything on the game side. We should be on camera with high precision, which we are. That's not changed, does it? No, it's still the same. Right, so if we go here, let me go and pick a... No, I just want to go to training. Training. Play. So this part you'll have to do with your mouse for PUBG. Anything after that you should be able to do through controller, and it should give you the Xbox assignment controls as well. So if I move around, you can see I am moving, and if you look where I am above me, you can see all the buttons like it would be on an Xbox controller, on a normal controller. So you can go here, you can press your button, press that button in, the little tiny button here to do that, hold it, and you'll go to the settings. And you can go to settings, and now you've got control over your menus using your controller. And you can choose different types. As I've got minus type C, so L1 and R1 makes me do the lean mechanic. And that's it, and it all works. Simple as easy as that. You can go inside player, can come out, press B to crouch, B to get up, jump, spin round. Whatever you want to do, you can do it from now on. You can mark, look, and you can change these buttons around if, like I said, if you go and change the option. Because at the moment, R3 makes you ping. If you press circle, you crouch. You can obviously go into Steam and change them. So you could have it where circle is ping and right button is you crouch and prone and whatever. Or even add that extra input and have maybe tapping your right button makes you go crouch. Tapping or long press makes it go crouch and prone, and then double tap for if you're wanting to ping, and have it under R3 instead, so you could be pinging and crouch and proning with one button. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. Hopefully that helps you out. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Maybe even consider joining if I can speak English. It's just $1.99, gives you access to emotes and badges. I want to be able to obviously give giveaways to people who have joined. I want to be able to do some charity work as well for autism and dementia. And it would be really cool and really awesome to have people on there to become my elite convicts and elite convicts. And obviously you get access to emotes and badges when I'm live streaming, which I will be at the end of this year again. So if you want to see that with the brand new 1000 down 1000 up connection, you definitely want to be checking that out. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick look into it. Like I said, just use the templates, change them around, and then obviously jump into game and away you go. Simple as that. Okay, so it is Convict signing out. As always, I salute you, my convicts and convicts. And I salute you, my elite convicts and elite convicts. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for those who have continued to support the channel, paying the $1.99 like Raf GT Sport, and being an absolute legend for helping the channel, obviously, to improve and to bring in more cool games, equipment, stuff, and hopefully do giveaways and that once we get enough people joining in the elite section. So thank you very much. And yeah, bye for now.